Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be showing you how I work on a real client project. I'm going to be sharing my screen and really just going through a normal work session with you guys. The project that I'm working on right now is called Flatwork, and in a previous video that I will link below, I actually already took you guys through what this app is, how the project has been going, a little before and after. Yeah, just talking about the process a little bit more. So if you are curious and you want more information on this project in general, definitely check out that video. But in this video, I'm really just going to be showing you kind of in real time how I work on a real client project. Let's get into this. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is open up my Figma file. And in the previous video, you guys saw all of these screens and some prototypes and such. I am now on the very last app of Flatwork. It's called Shortcuts. And so what I do first before I start designing a new app or a new screen or just a new feature, for this project specifically, it is a bit of a reskin, like a UI reskin, also with some UX improvements along the way is how we're structuring this project. So the first thing I do is I go into the existing Flatwork app, which looks like this, and I'm gonna go into the Shortcuts app that already exists here. So this is what it looks like. This is one of the apps that I haven't used too much within Flatwork, so I'm going to have to play around with it a bit more, and you'll see me doing that here as we go. But these are what our shortcuts look like, and we can filter them by tag. We can also, looks like when you click on it, you go straight to, the destination of that shortcut. So that is good to know. Let's see. I think that we need a way to edit these. So that's fairly simple. We can maybe put an edit icon here. Import bookmarks, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. And I didn't actually take a screenshot of this full screen yet, so I'm going to do that. And if you saw my previous video, you know that this is after I actually took a really deep dive into Flatwork to create the audit that I created. So this isn't like my first time seeing any of this or anything like that. So that's why this will be a little bit quicker than if I was just seeing this app for the first time. I've been working on this project for over a month now. But basically what I'm doing is just looking at all the different views here. So view shortcut, add shortcut. So I'm going to screenshot this as well. Okay, so now I am just going into this page in Figma, and I actually already have a screenshot here. This is from a call that I had with the founder, and he was showing me a screenshot of how he uses this particular feature. It's kind of like a sidecar feature, so I'll show you actually what it's like. So if you, oops, not that. So if we're in Flatwork and we go into just any website, let's just say we're going to, I don't know, just here. It's fine, it doesn't matter. Then if I click on shortcuts up here, then we get this kind of like sidecar view. And so that's kind of what I had a screenshot of here, but he has lots more populated. And the cool part is that if you're, let's say you're inside LinkedIn, then you'll actually see shortcuts that have the LinkedIn URL included in them in this like separate category at the top. So that's super helpful. And let's see what it's like to actually add a shortcut. So instead of Amazon, let's go to just like figma.com. Okay, so let's say that we wanted to bookmark this. I'm just kind of seeing what this flow is like. Add shortcut. Okay, so then it auto populates this. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of that, showing that when you're on figma.com, it's going to auto populate this URL with figma.com, and it's going to, you know, add this as well. And so I'll just create a tag that is design. And as you can see, I can do more than one tag if I want to. I can do 0 tags if I want to. So that's good to know. That's the current behavior. And so I'm just like talking about the current behavior, the current design, the current UX, the current UI, and that's our starting point. There's lots of stuff in this app that's already working well, and we just need to update the UI. But there's also some things that we might be able to improve functionality wise. So I'm just exploring here and kind of getting my eyes on all that stuff. So what would happen if we hit this again? Okay, it would collapse. So I kind of like that. And you probably saw in the previous video, we actually have a new design for this like browser bar. So anyway, we'll look at that in a bit. Okay, so that's what this screenshot is. I'm gonna bring in the rest of the screenshots. And now I want to start designing, you know, the new screen. So I'm going to go into one of our previous designs. I'm going to choose one that I know is going to have somewhat of a similar layout, and that would be tasks, because I know we're going to have tags on the left like this. So I'm just going to copy this frame and come back into shortcuts and paste it. And then I'll just kind of do the things that I've been doing as I go through these apps in order to kind of change the UI to know where we are. So for example, this needs to say shortcuts, and here we need to have our shortcuts icon. We also need a little indicator bar here to show which app we're on. So I'm just copying that from over there, and we will bring it in line with this app here, this shortcuts. And we can actually delete that for the time being because we're on this app here. Okay, nice. So then I'm just going to clean slate, except actually, I do want this. So I'm gonna delete everything but that. With these shortcuts, we don't have like flags, like priorities. We just have tags. So just going to do that. Make sure that I have the right amount of space. 16 pixels between each one. Perfect. We can rename these later, but for now, this is what it would look like. And at some point, we'll mock up what it would look like if you had like 100 tags. If this were scrollable, that's gonna need to be like a use case that we mock up. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So the first thing that we want to do is figure out what the main UI should be over here. So we can see, where am I? This is kind of the main UI from the existing Shortcuts app. We can see that these are kind of used as tabs. So let me go back to it actually so that we can see. So you kind of toggle back and forth between these two tabs. And I don't know if I love that interaction. I think we could get rid of this view shortcuts and just have add shortcut. And when you click it, it would just open a modal for you to add a shortcut. So let's try out that instead. We first need to create a component for these shortcuts themselves, these kind of links. And so I'm gonna go into Password Vault because I think they could be kind of similar to this. So I'm going to copy this and come on over and paste it in. And we're just going to see kind of what information this needs. So the name of the website and then the URL. So let's say Figma. So we can tell that's clearly a URL. We definitely do not need this. and then any tags associated with it. So let's think, where could we put the tags? We could put those in the middle where we had the days before actually. So let's go back and just see what that would look like if we had hashtag design. And we also have to keep in mind that there could be multiple tags, right? So would they look like design, comma, you know, Figma work? Like, would they look like that? If so, we would need this to kind of go left align. So what I'm gonna do, since I know we're going to have to change this a bit, is I'm going to detach this, and then I'm gonna name the frame shortcut. And once we get it to a point where we like it, then we'll create it back into a new component that we can duplicate, and all of that. So now my next question is, I know I want for this to be editable. Like, I want for you to be able to click somewhere on here and actually edit the shortcut. Should that be under the 3 dots, or should we just have an edit icon or link? I think the reason that you would have 3 dots is if there were more controls, and maybe there are, maybe you should be able to delete it as well. So yeah, maybe I'll keep that, and then we will have a little drop down, which I'm just finding something similar because I've definitely designed something similar before. Maybe in Password Vault. Like, what happens? Yeah. Here's what happens when you click on the 3 dots in this case. So we probably just need delete shortcut. We can keep go to website in there, even though you can just click on it to do that as well. See and edit details, that's good. We don't need this, and we don't need this. So now I'm gonna call this shortcut list more actions. Cool, so that would kind of drop down if you clicked on those 3 dots, and you could, you know, do any of these. Maybe I'll put go to website on the top, since that's probably the most common one. If I didn't mention, this is kind of a placeholder for whatever, like, what is it called? Favicon or Favicon would go here. So, you know, if you're in the Figma, like, it would probably be the Figma logo there. But for now, since we're working on like the component level, we are just going to keep it this placeholder. Now let's figure out the tags, because I think I actually know how I want to do this. But what we need to do is actually take this out of there and have it be its own thing. So packed, this should hug the contents, or no, it shouldn't. It should actually take up, let's see, how are we doing it in the Password Vault? Okay, 255. And I'm doing an 8 pixel grid, so I want to make sure that that's divisible by 8, which it's not. So I'm going to do 8 times 32 and 256. So that is what we're going to use. And then for this, actually, I'm going to duplicate that. Oops. And no, there we go. Put that in there. So now we have 2 fill container. Now we have 2 256 pixel, I guess, frames here inside of here. And so now what's happening is it's putting like an even amount of space between each of these, but I actually don't want that. I want these like fairly close to each other. So what I'm going to do is select both of those and frame them together, and we're going to put 40 pixels between them. And then we will turn on auto layout so that it hugs these together. So now we have this that always stays on the very end. Like, let me show you how this looks when we resize it. It's going to look like that. Anyway, now let's look at what this would look like if we had several tags. Okay, it's just going to look like that. And maybe actually, so maybe it should work like this, so that there's a full 8 pixels of space between these. So I think that could work well. So maybe this is design. And you probably wouldn't have 3 tags on one, but that's okay. The other question is, are these styles working for us? So for tags, we're normally using this color Stone 6. So let's see what it would look like if we used Stone 6 for this. Yeah, it definitely makes it stand out a bit more, which I like. So let's do that, because I think that also, you know, kind of works better with this situation. Now I forget kind of the margins we used for the passwords. 80 pixels, yeah, 80 and 80. And we also have this here, so let's use that as well. Website and tags, but we want tags to start here to be in line with that. Let's make sure we are 80 pixels on each side, and then I'm just checking on the spacing between these, so 24 pixels away. Okay, that's 24. And then should you be able to search your shortcuts? I think that is a question. The other thing I'm wondering is, do these look like shortcuts? Like, is it obvious that you can click on this whole field and it will take you to Figma? Maybe it's just as simple as adding like an arrow. Oh yeah, now I'm remembering the solution we had, which I think this will work well for the shortcuts too. Whenever you hover, this is the hover state here, this third one down. When you hover over it, then this shows up. It turns a little bit of a darker gray and it says go to website. So actually, I think that's gonna work just the same here. These are gonna be really similar, and I think I'm only going to know if that bothers me once we kind of flesh it out more. So let's just bear with me here for a second. So let's make this into a component, and then I don't like to have like the main component on screen. So I'm gonna do Command X, right? Yeah. I'm going to cut that and come over to here, and there we go. So now I can actually, just like I've done here for the passwords, I can add a variant. So I'm going to add a variant and then just copy the same exact styles here. So the opacity is 25% Stone 2. That, did we round the corners? No, we did not. And then we're just going to add this exact component right there, and this will be our hover state. So I think that'll work great. So then I'm just going to copy that, come into shortcuts, and paste it back in here. And I remember that we had 80 pixels on each side and 24 from here. So now this is a component, so if we ever feel like we need to change something on here, we can just go into that component. Okay, so I'm just dragging it out while holding, wait, what did I do? Just in case you want some little Figma hacks. I'm dragging it out while holding Option Shift and putting it right in place, right there. And then I'm doing Command D to duplicate that action. Just a quick time saver. And then we'll do what we did on the other one. Oh, whoops, I did not even name my variants. So let's go back. silly me. So property 1, state, default, state, hover. Okay, now go back here and we'll make this into hover. Okay, so pretty quickly we've got this kind of main UI down. Whether I love it or not yet, I'm not sure, but we really like have to just try things. So now what we can do is figure out what this modal would look like if you click on add new. So I'm going to go into the modal that I have for the password vault. Just have something like this for a starting point. We're also going to be looking at this, which is the current solution. So it says shortcut URL, so that's right there. Title, and this can be tags, but we might want a different kind of input for that. Like here, for example, you can see all of the tags. And actually I've designed something like this before. So yeah, it's this. Basically, this is a drop down though, which is a bit different, but maybe it still applies. So basically what happens is when you trigger the drop down, it shows you all of these. It shows you tags you've already created and then create new tag. And if you click there, then you can start typing right in there and you can add it just by pressing enter, and then it will add like that. So let's see. Honestly, I feel like that could work really well. So I'm just going to copy that and bring it over. But instead of this being a drop down, that would require an extra click. So I think what we can do is actually have these broken out so you can see all of them, even if they're like a ton. Maybe it becomes scrollable. So these aren't really tags, these are like the P1, so I'm gonna call them something else. And then create new. Maybe create new tag needs to be first. Okay, add new shortcut. Okay, and now let's design one where we're editing the shortcut. So URL. And we want to use our the gray 7 color because it's input text. Figma, same with this. And then checked. Maybe we keep these black. For adding a new shortcut, editing a shortcut, and if you remember how you get to that is by clicking on the 3 dots and then see and edit details. Maybe this just needs to be edit because you can actually see all the details. Like there's nothing here that's not here fleshed out. So just edit should be fine. Go to website, edit shortcut, delete shortcut. I think those are clear. I'm gonna do just a little bit of research quick. I'm gonna go and look at my bookmark manager in Chrome. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking like the point of bookmarks is that you can see them at all times here. And so is it odd that the shortcuts app, like, does it save you time, I guess? Does this save you time if you have to go into your shortcuts app and then click on the shortcut? Like, I'm wondering if instead of shortcuts, this should actually be like bookmarks, because I'm thinking about like shortcuts as something that lives, like, let's say this is our main app. A shortcut would live like, you know, on this top bar or something so you could always get to it. But this feels more like bookmarks, like things that I want to remember, like an article that I want to bookmark, or a video, or like a product that, you know, maybe I want to buy later or look into later. Let's screenshot this. This might be good to keep in mind. Like, are any of these options? I'm just wondering, like, I like the functionality of it, but I am wondering if it should be called bookmarks instead. Like, I think just the wording shortcuts is making me feel like Like, these aren't really shortcuts. Like, yes, they are. It's a shortcut for like trying to remember what, you know, website I saw a certain thing on and going to find it and Google it maybe. Like, it's a shortcut, but shortcut denotes like something that I use every single day that needs to be right at my fingertips, not something where like I have a whole list of them and I need to go into a certain app to access it. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. So I think what I'm going to do is pose that to the founder. So let's just call this bookmarks for now. And I'm just going to change anywhere that says shortcut to bookmark just to kind of see how this feels. Okay, and let me know in the comments if you guys agree with me or if there's another word that you're kind of thinking about or another way that you're thinking about it. I would absolutely love to kind of read your thoughts in the comments as well. Okay, so let's do this next. So I have actually designed something similar to this. So I'm just going to grab that design. I have already designed something similar here for the rest of the apps. So basically, let's say we're in Chrome and, you know, this could be any website. This is just a placeholder. I actually need to create a new component here. So I'm going to just hit the plus button and we're going to call this one book. Well, for now we'll call it shortcuts. And we can always rename it once we figure out kind of what the deal is with that. So then I'm just going to copy this and put it here. So for the other ones we did manage emails from the site. This is basically so that when you're on any specific site, Floutwork is actually smart enough to know what of your information within Floutwork applies to that website. So like manage, maybe it's just see bookmarks. You need to be able to see and add bookmarks. Manage bookmarks for this site. Is that too long? That will at least work for now. So then I'm going to copy that, come over to shortcuts, or actually we don't even need to copy it. We can just change it right there. So this is what it would look like. And then if you clicked on that, that is when you would want to see these sidecars. This is what it looks like currently. Yeah, you can kind of still see everything. Okay, so let's grab this component and see how small we can make it. So maybe what happens is when it's that small, maybe these start to stack. Well, first what we want to do is have like a separate section. 332 pixels to work with. So let's go to that component and make a new variant. Take this and arrange it like that with no pixels in between. And this can hug contents. Okay, then we're definitely gonna need actually like, oops. Yeah, get pixels in between. Okay, cool. So then we have that. And let's see now what it looks like at 332. It's pretty. Now let's make one that is sidecar. Well, let's do this right. Okay, so we need a new property. Oops. Variant size. And the value is, yeah, default's fine. Size default, size default, size sidecar, state default, size or state hover size. size sidecar. Okay, so then we can make this background that. Yeah, we probably don't need this in the sidecar version, if I'm being honest. Okay, so let's see how that works. Okay, so let's say there's 2 in the LinkedIn learning. I don't know. Or my LinkedIn profile. So then it is definitely possible that this could need to be truncated. So we can just do the ... Let's see, how did they do it here? Oh no, they bring it to the next line. Okay, I think that's fine because these are links. So I get why you would want to be able to see the whole URL. So let's go to the main component, and we're gonna have to do this for all of them. So this should fill the container. This should fill the container. So then let's see what happens when we do a really long link. Okay, cool. If it's like really long. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. The only thing I'll say is then maybe this should be centered like that. Okay, but that doesn't apply to those. Whoops! I made a real link and I did not mean to do that. Okay, so we figured that out. So now that should apply here too. So yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, just using my full name so that it actually triggers that so you can see what it would look like. Nice. So now let's make our second category. So 40 pixels seems good. And then 16. Okay, and then we'll just populate this. Oops. Okay, so that is what it would look like, which I think works well. Okay, now I think all that's left to do is prototype this. And then what I like to do is, this has just been one work session, so I'm gonna prototype this, kind of play with it, and then kind of sleep on it. I like to work in really smaller chunks so that I can have as many chances as possible to come back to a design and see what I'm liking and not liking, because a lot of times the very first time that you try something, you don't think of every possible use case, you don't think of every possible issue, and so I like to get it in a good place and then take a break and come back. I'm gonna go into prototype mode, and then what we can do, actually, I think it would be nice, we'll put this on default, and then let's go into the component and set it up on the component level so that we only have to do it once. So we're gonna say on, or while hovering, change to hover, size default, instant, we don't need an animation. Same here, while hovering. Okay, and see, that's pretty cool. That took 2 seconds, and now we don't have to prototype that at all on here. So let's see if it works. Yep, pretty cool. Very, very easy. Okay, next is this. This is one of those things that we don't necessarily need to prototype, so I'm going to ditch it for now, but what we can do is just have a screen where we're showing it up. So I will eventually do that, but for now I'm going to skip it. Let's do this add new bookmark. So prototype, add new, I'm going to point it to here, and instead of navigate to, we're going to do open overlay. And close when clicking outside, yes, I do like that. Add a background behind. Yeah, I think I've been doing that. Let's try 16%. And I'll have to check on what exactly I've been using. Okay, and then same with this, you'll get to that from there, so that's fine. So what we can do is just put this on here. Whenever you click on edit, this will come up. So instead of navigate to, we're doing open overlay, and same thing. Okay, and then these are going to close. That already, I don't know why, is Figma just smart enough to know that that's a close button? I actually don't know, but that kind of automatically just happened, which is cool. Okay, we've seen this before. Oh, we have not added this button though. So I'll show you how I did it in the password vault. Import passwords. So we're just gonna do the same exact thing. Import bookmarks. Cool, easy enough. Okay, and I don't think we need it on this screen. When you click on this, this should open overlay. Yep. And then if you click on choose file, then it should swap overlay. Yeah, it did that too. Maybe because I've copied this over. That's probably why. I probably prototyped it the first time and then I've copied and changed these components. So cool, that's fine. So then once we click this, close overlay, yeah, perfect. Okay, then over here, when you click on manage bookmarks for this site, open overlay, and you can position it exactly where you want it to go. So it's going to go like that. Close when clicking outside, no, we don't want that. Background, no, we don't want that because it's, you know, more of a sidecar view. Cool. So that works. And yeah, I think that's really all we need to prototype for this. So, oh, I do also like to prototype a transition to take us to this screen so that I can look at it all in one. So on click, navigate to shortcuts, easy. Okay, so then now I'm going to start here and play the prototype. Okay, manage. Okay, so now you can see all these. These are just being funky because of the default state, but it's not really that important. Like, you kind of get what we're going for here, and I could definitely tidy this up before I hand it to the client and the developer. Okay, so then get rid of that. See, when you click outside, it doesn't do anything, which is good. That means that you can like do stuff over here and still have this up, which I think is what we want. So then we click over here, and now we're at the real view. So you can see we have the hover thing. Let's do import bookmarks. We're going to choose a file, import bookmarks. Okay, cool. So the developer will know what needs to happen with that. I don't need to mock that up. Then we can do edit shortcut. Cool, save. We can do add new. I didn't mock these up yet, but I could. Add. And that's pretty much it. Hey guys, it is the next day and I just have a couple really quick changes to show you. I had a back and forth via Loom with the client, and he just had a couple of things that he wanted to add and change. So the first one here is he just wanted a way to delete all of these and kind of start fresh. And so I just added the delete all button here. And of course you can't have a delete all without a confirm modal. So I added that too. And I also added one for the delete bookmark here, just for an individual one. The other thing that the client wanted to do was make the process of importing bookmarks even easier and more straightforward. Before, you could only do it from Chrome, and now you can do it from a bunch of these other places. And essentially what happens is, I'll actually show you in the prototype. What happens is when you click on this, you get several choices. So let's say I use Brave as my browser. So I can import bookmarks from Brave. And so what they're going to do is actually select on the file, like the CSV file, which is basically like an Excel sheet that has all of my bookmarks in it, that gets, you know, kind of saved to your computer straight from your browser. It will find that in your computer for you, and then all you have to do is click open. So that's a middle step that I can't include in Figma. It's something that has to happen in the back end, but that's essentially a new flow that he wanted me to add here. So then you get a success message that however many bookmarks were successfully imported, and you can click OK. And the very last thing that you wanted to add is this empty state. So I completely forgot about this. I had mocked it up for other apps and we needed one for here. So if you don't have any bookmarks yet, if you're a new user or you've just kind of cleared and you want a clean slate, then you can either import bookmarks, which, oops, I'm not in the prototype. You can either import bookmarks, which is the same exact flow, or you could add a new bookmark and sort of like manually get going and doing them one by one. So that is that. Oh, and I completely forgot to tell you that the client did prefer the term bookmarks. It turns out he was going back and forth between shortcuts, bookmarks, and links. And so he wanted us to decide between bookmarks and links. I'm leaning towards bookmarks, so I might let him know about that, might do a little bit more research before we make the final decision. But yeah, I wanted to update you about that too. We're really close to wrapping up this project, so thank you guys so much for watching and following along. I hoped that you enjoyed seeing this kind of like real-time work session. If you did, please let me know in the comments, because I love to know what kind of videos you like and want more of. So let me know what you want to see, and I will see you guys in a future video. Bye.